Good afternoon and welcome to Jupiter's Casino on the picturesque Gold Coast here in Queensland as Stan the Man steps up onto the scales for the weigh-in. Greg Barker there not even having to remove his clothes for his weigh-in. He's quite confident of his weight. Stan just having a little bit of a pose photo and a very, very fit-looking Stan there. So Jeff Fennick, good to see Jeff along and great to see his support for the sport. And there is Alex Atoui, our new world champion. And now, as Greg Wiley joins me, Greg, we're just looking at the board there. The boys are having to discuss a little bit of a ruling. And of course, John Woolwich also joining us. Fellas, a bit of a problem there.
Bit of a problem. I'm not at the moment, Mike.
This is the night before, actually, on the Saturday night, John, and the boys were able to get out there and judge a bit of the local talent, shall we say.
I was with them, mate. It was a fine effort. The problem with the weight was Ronnie Delon was half a key over, but he managed to get it off.
Well, the fight card comes up, fellas, and now super lightweight. Greg, I think you've got their fighters there.
Nick Tetoros versus Graham Butler.
Our middleweight, John.
It's Paul Turner versus David Abbahader, mate.
We see our welterweight coming in, Ali Atoui and Gary O'Neill. Our light heavyweight, Dave Turner versus Dominic Delingi. International heavyweight, Grant Barker versus Tyrone Herode. And, of course, our WKA World Lightweight Middleweight, Alex Atoui versus Ronnie Delon from the United States. Is going to be a tough bout there. And the big one, WKA Junior Heavyweight title, Stan Longinidis versus Lawrence White from the United Kingdom. Now, these boys are going to have to work very hard through the fight night as they come into the ring for round one of bout one. Coming in our blue corner. Now, just really a little point out here, the colours worn by our boxers is not necessarily the colours that they're fighting on.
That's right, it can be quite confusing for the spectator out there.
Coming to the centre ring now. Of course, kickboxing, the way this is formulated, 5 1.5-minute rounds. Now, they do a kick count card. Now, we haven't been told just exactly how many are on that count card at the moment, whether it is a 6, 8 or 4, and in some cases it might be 9.
Generally, it's an 8 kick count. These guys would be doing an 8 kick count under normal circumstances. Of course, this is an extra special event, so who knows.
So Nick Detores just making his way into the ring. Graham Butler already in the ring from Queensland, Townsville exactly, and Nick's from Victoria. So a battle of the borders.
That's right. Graham Butler's had 3 fights for 3 wins, 100% record, and Nick's had 4 fights for 4 wins.
Well, mate, that's going to be a tough bout to see. John, just looking at these two boys, very similar in stature, height's very same, and the build's very same. I remember back to Alex Tui's fight against Cash Gill, and by God, there was a major difference there, about 1.5 feet in height.
Well, it didn't make any difference on the day. Nick here from Melbourne is actually from the same stable as Stan the Man, so we're expecting some big things from him, but of course Graham's proved himself to be quite a little fighter as well.
Well, Graham will be out of the blue corner, and of course Nick out of the red. The referee is in centre ring. Greg, have you had a chance to see either of these boys box before?
No, they're relatively inexperienced guys, as their record does show. But 4 fights for 4 wins, 3 fights for 3 wins, it's going to be a good one.
Well, just looking at Nick, a bit of a head clash there, actually. I think I might have to... Yeah, it was a bit of a head clash. But Nick straight in with the kick. He likes to use that roundhouse right kick, and he's straight in with that kick, and Graham's having to cover up very early on in this bout. Normally they come out smoking, and as these two boys have done, they have straight away come out winging away with them punches, some wayward rights and left from Nick. So Graham's just moving around the ring and using it very well, where Nick's trying to cut him off.
Generally, the lighter the boys, the more energy used, and of course these guys are pretty fast. They're light and they're fast.
That was a good left and right too, actually. That hurt him, I think. Nick's getting in some good hits there early on, and Graham's going to have to watch himself here, or Nick might be making it an early night.
These boys are very keen as well, guys. This is a very big day for them here at Jupiter's.
Well, it must be the biggest audience, John, that they've had the chance to perform in front of.
Undoubtedly.
Of course, the biggest kickboxing card in Australian history too.
Sure, bigger than the gym.
Bigger than the gym. Well, as you can see, these are 1.5-minute rounds, folks, and at the moment, these boys will be starting to feel the effects of it. It's amazing how quickly it does hit you. It takes about 40 seconds for the body to react to the fact that it's under stress, and, well, God, these boys are under stress.
In all ways.
Well, as you can see, Graham's in the long pants, Nick in the short pants, and I think so far in the exchange, Nick looks to have the better of it. Around this weekend bleat. Round 1, I'd have to lean towards Nick for that first round.
Nick went pretty well in that round. Graham used some pretty good kicks. He used some nice sliding side kicks, moved in pretty well, but Nick was more the aggressor in that particular round.
Well, we can see the card getting carried around by a typical Gold Coast beauty.
They are luscious.
Mate, these are the meter maids. They go around and save people's pockets.
Well, we're out for round 2, and you can see the big sign in the back down, Jupiter's Casino. That's where we are, on the Gold Coast. Not in the sun today. We're indoors in the casino, but we'll be enjoying some great fighting action as the boys come out in this round 2. We're about 20 seconds into it. And
Graham using his hands more than Nick.
Absolutely.
Nick's using his legs very well.
Yeah, he's covering up very well too. He's got good defence, Nick. Very good defence. You watch him, he keeps his hands loose. He doesn't have the classic defence, but it seems to work very well.
Well, he can afford to keep his hands loose because he's got those good legs which can keep his opponent away from him.
In that round 1, he actually went over the rope with one of his kicks and hooked himself up onto it, so he can get plenty of height there.
Yeah, because it's looking very promising for him.
But he does open himself up. When he throws that big left, he drops the right hand, and if Graham can get onto him, he could stop him. It would be one out of the pan, but definitely. Referee breaks one.
Sorry, mate.
Yeah, the referee in this sport, you can't let the hang on. The hang on is not allowed, like boxing.
It's not good for the guys. It's not good for the... Oh, well, it is good for the guys. They can have a rest, but of course it's not good for the crowd and gives kickboxing not a bad, or not a good name, I should say.
And the fellas are just working around. You can see that they've slowed the pace down a little, and that's very important. It's also interesting to note here, Greg, in previous fights we've seen shin and feet padding, and especially, John, we don't see it here tonight, and I know that rulings in each state are different.
Well, it's not a case of the state. In fact, this was decided in the rule room, as we saw earlier in the show. There was some contention some problems in the rule room about this. It was decided that there would be no shin pads and no boots, in fact, for the right leader.
A very good camera angle there, just depicting the figure of that young lady. Your cameraman up there must have had a good time, no doubt. Definitely say that. We're coming up for round 3. I'd still call it 2-0 at the moment. I think it's a 2-0 situation.
I'll have to go with you.
And I think Nick's looking very strong at the moment. I think you might wear this young fella down.
I think he's a little more disciplined too, which is obviously very important.
Well, Nick's looking much more composed. Graham has to do something now. He is 2 behind in our books, and he just has to come out with something special.
Well, he's looking for a hand grenade, and I just don't think he's got one fastened on his belt there anywhere, mate.
Well, he can't get close enough to Nick. This is it. Nick's legs are just keeping him away, and...
Yeah, Nick seems to be able to pick him up at will. And once again, Graham is on a learning curve, and I'm sure that he's giving it his best, and he'll try and work a way around this. As you can see, the ref straight in to try and sort these boys out and stop them from sliding off their feet. Good to see the ring's not as slippery. I was at a recent fight some time back, and the ring was very slippery.
Very slippery, yes. I remember that. It was down at the State Sports Centre.
That's correct,
People slipping over all the time.
You can see the big Powers logo in there, and of course they're a major involvement with the sport, and you can't help but naturally brood bitter, can you?
It's tasty stuff, mate.
Tasty stuff, is it?
Simply tastes better.
Graham got a couple of good exchanges in there. Now you can see the defence is gone, and the boys are starting to get a bit tired. Getting a little bit ragged as they start to throw those exchanges.
Well, this is their experience, or their lack of experience. These guys have to learn how to pace themselves a little more. Of course, Nick, being the more composed, is looking a little better at this stage. And there he gets in a nice big left roundhouse kick to Graham's head.
I think Graham's going to get a warning here from the referee. He actually hooked on and grabbed Nick's leg as he did one of his kicks.
Yes, and that is a definite sign of tiredness and frustration.
For sure. I'd still have to split that to Nick. I think he's leading 3-0 at the moment. John, you have the same sentiment?
I can't argue with you, mate. They're both working hard, but as you say, Nick's got a lot more discipline.
Yes. What's the sash there? I just couldn't catch that.
These girls are meter maids for, as I was saying before, in Service Paradise. What they do is they go around. If the car's about to run out of its meter, they'll put 2 bob in it for you.
So if you're about to expire, they'll reignite you. Is that the...
You've got it covered.
Yeah. Well, they haven't got much covered, but they'll be here for the rest of the afternoon, and so will we, and we're going to bring you some great fight action, and that was a very good front kick. That sorted Graham out in a big way, kept him away. As we're in round 4 now.
There's Nick's moving in now. He's looking very confident.
Oh, good left, good left. 2 good left and right combinations from Nick. He's got him well worked. I think Graham's in a little bit of distress. He snuck that right in too. Graham's starting to wear him right down. Graham's starting to wear right down here. Nick's rearing up, and I think we've got a little bit of a breather coming up. Maybe a standing count here for him.
Well, he's got a lot of heart, but
no,
I think
he
just fell
didn't
down.
give him a standing count. He is a very tired boy, and if I was the ref, I'd give a standing 8. Yeah, he's got to give him a standing. No, he still hasn't given him a standing 8. Graham's got that glazed look in his eye, and you can just see the defence is not there.
Graham's run out of steam.
Oh, that was a big left kick. I
think Graham can see stars now. That's the end of it. The referee will wisely stop the fight.
I think, personally there, Greg, I think the ref was a bit late.
He was a bit late. He held on a little long. He's playing it more to the crowd.
He's not a small fella. That fella that just picked up Nick, I thought he was going to throw him through the roof.
He'll pick him up and crush him.
As Nick comes over to the corner where we are, and he just consults Graham there.
Good sports personship from Nick there, going over to his defeated opponent.
That's hardly out of breath.
He looks a very good prospect for the future there, John.
5 fights for 5 wins. Nick Tetoros.
Well, Graham's going to have to go back to Townsville and see what he can come up with. Maybe run through the cane fields or something and see if he can find a little bit more mileage.
I think the boy showed a lot of heart.
Absolutely. Well, here comes our next fight, and Paul Turner this is a middleweight division, versus David Abbahader. And famous band has been named that once upon a time, that first part anyway.
Mamma Mia.
Now, David's fighting from Sydney Stable, and here he comes into the ring now. And
David's had 3 fights for 2 wins.
And David's going to be out of the blue corner, so...
The local boy, Paul Turner.
There's his brothers in the bill a little later on as well. Both trained by Peter Schofield in Brisbane.
Yeah, Paul Turner, yes. Paul's had 3 fights for 2 wins.
Very rangy build, very similar build to Cash Gill, the former champion.
Yes, and we know how to deal with people with that sort of build. Move in close, crowd them.
Yes, well, this is going to be a very interesting fight. These two boys are very ill-matched in the sense of looking at them. Oh, hang on. We've got ourselves... What happens here, ladies and gentlemen, is we get a slight break while they recuperate. Unfortunately, any injuries sustained in this part of the body is automatically put into the corner and, so to speak, blow on the hot chips and try and sort them out.
This guy will be singing soprano.
Taz was a very low blow, actually. The boys came out very, very quick in that opening exchange. And
this enthusiasm makes these guys do things they normally wouldn't do.
It makes it very hard for the poor fellow to keep going.
Extremely hard.
Well, he's seeing the exchange straight away. Once again, these two fellas are going to go at it. I think we might have an early ending to this one. They're working very quick, unless they slow the pace down.
Because that, there's a nice back kick. Yes. Lovely back kick. Lovely execution of that back kick.
Right, come in, big right.
He's got to move in on this guy. He's got to move in close and crowd him. And he's just doing that right now. Into the corner, the referee will step in and pull them apart.
All right, Abbahader now just sort of coming across at him again. Abbahader in the yellow shorts. He's exchanging good right and left combinations. Geez, he can punch this boy. He's not worried by the height. He realises he can't get his kicks up there. He's going to have to knock the tall trees down, hit him low, and then try and work into that midsection and up around the facial area.
He's got to crowd this guy. He's got to crowd Paul Turner. Paul Turner's got these long legs, and of course this, it's an incredible advantage to have over someone. So David's got to...
Geez, he just escaped that left. Paul leaves himself very open when he comes in for those close exchanges. I think he's used to his long reach. And he seems to think that that's going to get him through. David's there just trying to clear the sinuses a little.
Yes, it's good to see the sort of venue that we've got here with Jupiter's. It's a terrific place, a fabulous room. And We've got pushing close to 2,000 people in the room here today.
Yeah, I don't know how they've crammed them in, actually, John. It's amazing to think that they've been able to get them all in here, and it's a good sign.
And they've all got plenty of room too. It's comfortable.
Yeah, absolutely. Good seating. Wayward kick there, right wayward kick as we come start on round 2.
I'm thinking about the fighters too. It's a good fighting environment. Plenty of air around and very helpful for these guys once they start mixing it. Here he goes in with that jab. He had to reach right up there. He had to punch a hole in the ceiling.
I think the range is starting now. Dave's starting to find his range a little better, but he's still not using that reach advantage.
Well, we can't forget these guys have only had 3 fights apiece because they both won 2 and lost 1.
Okay, Dave is still trying to knock him down. He likes that reverse round, doesn't he?
He's pretty stylish if he gets a chance.
That's it. If he gets a chance against this tall guy.
Mate, he keeps going down with this problem. I don't know what's wrong with him here.
Well, he's basically been kicked where he shouldn't have been kicked, and whilst it was a mistake, it sort of made the contest a little uneven from his point of view, I'd say.
A little bit of blood on the face too, so he's obviously suffered maybe a possible broken nose in some of those exchanges early on.
Here he goes. He walks into a nice big left then.
Yeah, absolutely.
And there he goes with that back kick again. He uses that well, but of course he was off the mark then.
This boy is not a well fellow. I don't think he's a very well fighter at all, actually. It might see the situation where we have a forfeit here of some substance because he's not a very healthy young man.
It's hard to know what's the best in a situation like this because he's obviously copped one in the Gold Blues earlier in the match, and it just makes it difficult to keep going.
He's obviously having a lot of problems, and
well, he's not winning the match from my point of view this time.
No, he's got blood trickling out of his nose anyway. He's not only copped a few below, he's copped a few in the
I
head
think they're going to have to call a halt to this one, and he's been courageous enough to go on for that second round.
Well, he went to the end of the second round, and you have to give it to him.
Yes.
Greg, just explain something to me here. We know that there's cricket protectors in cricket, the box protector. Yeah. Is there possibly some way they could have some sort of apparatus like that used in this?
Well, yes, they could have a box device to place in the appropriate area.
Yeah, but not used?
On some occasions, it's generally left up to the fighter whether to use it or not. I think with a tall guy like that, you wouldn't be expecting to get the kicks below.
Well, we can see the welterweight card come up now. That's going to be our next fight. Ali Atoui versus Gary O'Neill. Now, this is going to be a tough one.
So I think there's going to be a bit of contention shown about that last fight.
Yeah, it could be a follow-up on that.
I think there will be.
It's unfortunate to see a fellow have to train so hard for an event and then have something like that happen to him.
Yeah.
But once again, it wasn't intentional.
No,
it was just an accident, and that's part of the sport. And it's like getting hit in the head, I suppose, with a cricket ball, or getting a bad tackle in rugby league, or anything like that.
Well, perhaps we'll see a rematch of this.
Would be a good idea. It looked to be a classic fight too. The little man versus the big man, David Goliath.
He was doing well. He showed a lot of class and a lot of courage to get back in there.
Well, from Sydney, here he comes, Ali Atoui, and you are going to see one very, very fit boy. There is not much fat on this fellow at all.
Mick Spinks has done a pretty good job with this boy Ali Atoui. He's had 5 fights, only 2 wins, but he shows an awful lot of promise.
Well, he's definitely got the physique for it. He's very compactly built. Greg, there's Jeff just sitting in the end, obviously enjoying this to the max. And of course, we're going to see Fennick in the new year take on the world and maybe take Azuma Nelson's title back to the Australian shores. And let's hope he can do that. You can see the Jupiter sign there in the background.
Just getting back to Jeff Fennick, he's been quite a few of these promotions. Jeff Fennick,
he enjoys the sport.
He loves his kickboxing.
He enjoys the sport.
Yeah, I was talking with him before today's events, and he really does love the sport. He thinks it's a terrific view.
Has a great deal of respect for the fighters up there.
Okay, we come out for round 1 and some Larry shorts we're seeing here this afternoon.
Vile Green versus the All-American.
Well, we can't say that the fashion stakes aren't high in kickboxing.
Oh, he's got a nice little wobble there too.
Yeah, he has a funny stance. He actually shortens himself. He likes to stand with very, very bent legs, and that's going to be a bit of a problem for Gary if he tries to work in on Ali.
Just these two looking at each other at the moment, haven't thrown a fist or a kick yet.
Now, isn't this stark contrast to our first 2 bouts? The first 2, they came out in our first 2 bouts, whack, 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 straight into it. This bout, two very cagey guys, a little bit tentative.
Yeah, a lot more cautious.
A game of chess, hopefully.
Well, this is Gary's second fight. We'll see how we go in this one. Ronnie Doo's trained Gary up.
Well, he's got a very good master there. Ronnie Doo knows what it's all about. So,
Ronnie does know that.
thought I'd like to set up. I think I'll add another powers. As we look at it now, they can see the first exchange of the fight. The boys come in, but they've straight away break away. A little bit of a clash of heads there has brought a bit of blood.
Atoui, a trickle of blood coming from the... oh, there's a slip.
Oh, I spoke too soon there. I was saying how the canvas was a good one, and we've just had our first slip of the fight.
Yes, it has a great deal of traction at the beginning of the night, but of course as these guys perspire, the mat gets a little bit slippery.
Yeah, it fills up the porous areas of the mat and becomes a very slippery surface.
It's a good mat, though. It's a bit like sandpaper, this one. The previous one, as you were saying, at the State Sports Centre in New South Wales, was a little on the slippery side.
Oh, very greasy.
We got ourselves a new mat this time.
Right. Well, that's good to see.
Couldn't split that round.
I don't think you can just call that a split even round, and the boys were just checking each other out, actually, just trying to work out who was actually fit and who was not. And the meter maids. Well, that's definitely a...
Here at Jupiter's Casino, we're up to round 2. Seconds out.
Up to round 2.
Round 2.
Round 2.
There's a bit of work being done on...
That was definitely a clash of the heads, and a little bit of a crowd shot there.
Saw cut right eye.
He's going to have to watch that. He might have to protect that a little later on, Greg, I would say.
The guys put a dab of Vaseline on it to clog it up.
Ali's going to have to watch himself here because he is bleeding, and that could cause him a bit of a problem with his vision, especially if it being above the eye, not below the eye.
A nice little roundhouse kick by Gary O'Neill there.
This is being a little bit more of a boxing orientated match, these two fellas. They're holding the kicks back, and they're really working hard on the gloves.
Nonetheless, I think all the undercard fights this time are getting in their quota of kicks.
8 kick maximum in these fights, and I haven't seen any kick cards coming up at the moment, John, so I assume that they're on open rules at the front. Which makes it a little bit simpler. A good right, solid right in.
This is Atoui moving in, but Gary O'Neill, I notice he's got 2 very nice roundhouse kicks. Kicks nicely at both legs.
If you also watch Gary, he watches the other boxer's gloves. Whereabouts Ali tends to drop his chin down, the classic defence pattern. Gary tends to keep his head up and see what's coming, and that's good if you're quick. It's bad if you're not.
Yeah, so generally boxers or kickboxers from Mick Spinks' stable, they do rely more on their hands, and Atoui, one of those guys. There's that blood trickling from the right eye.
It starts to run into his eye, mate. That's going to cause a problem.
Oh, there's a nice big reverse hook kick. And of course, it just didn't quite hit the mark.
I think it might have scared him a little, but I think he's going to have to worry about that one, John.
Yeah, I think it's hard to pick this at this time.
A few palpitations there by Atoui.
I'm having some right now.
Yes, gosh.
Golly gosh.
I don't know how the boys keep their mind on the job, actually. But it's good to see the girls contributing and being involved in the sport. And as we know, that kickboxing and boxing, for that matter, is not on the female agenda very high up, is it?
Oh, I think you'd be surprised, mate. A lot of the girls up here just think these boys are a wonder.
Those meter mags, they can put their hand to anything, really, don't they?
I know those Tommy boys did well at the beauty contest last night.
Did they? Oh, well.
Very well received.
Oh, well, that's good.
Anyway, back to the fight.
Well, you can see their first exchange now. Things are starting to really warm up here in the ring, and the boys are really starting to throw some lever. And a couple of those kicks from Graham were getting through as well from Gary, and it's going to be tough for Ali to come back on this one, actually. He's starting to fall behind a little bit on the card.
Gary's getting more confidence with his kick. He's using that quite an advanced kick, that reverse hook kick. He's used it again at the beginning of this round, and he's starting to look pretty good.
You watch him too. He does tend to change a little from southpaw.
Yes, he's had an obvious martial art background. It'd be quite interesting to know which martial art he does do.
He's a very, very lucid customer. You just watch his control here. He's got very good control. Ali is rushing his attacks at the moment, and he's flustered, I think. He's going to have to settle the pace down a little.
It's a classic encounter. Ali the hand man and Gary the foot man.
Well, you think that Ali would be dictating the pace of this, but Gary's really doing a good job of it.
Yeah, it must be hard for Ali to pick this too, because Gary's just showing so many different types of styles.
Well, the different stances, yes.
It's interesting to know too, fellas, if you look there now on the wider of the two bodies, you can see where the contact points have been. The red blemishes up on the back there of Gary, where he's copped a few of those kicks, whereas in the darker skin, it doesn't show. So there might be a bit of an advantage.
Psychological advantage.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. Should have got out there on the Gold Coast beaches and got a bit of a tan before he goes there.
Gary O'Neill showing good skills. Great. Look at that roundhouse
Very
kick.
quick too. He's very quick with those kicks.
He's a head kicker, this guy.
I think Ali's realised that, and he is now trying to cut off the ring and get him into a corner so as that he doesn't have that kick.
A nice, beautiful front kick by Gary O'Neill.
Was very strong, wasn't it?
Yes, he could.
Put Ali right back.
I think Ali's getting a little more serious now. He's being stung like a bee, as it were. He's telling a bit.
Yeah, I think if he's going to show a bit of his experience here, John, he's going to have to really sort of come on. And he's bleeding from the nose as well, so this is going to be a hard day at the office. And the ref very wisely straight in to take away that excess blood. Now that's going to affect him with his breathing. So he's really having a hard night.
Well, he's blind and he's drowning, so what else can happen to him? Oh, there's a nice big head.
Very big left kick from Gary. He is a very classy young man.
Well, Ali's just got to move in. He's got to cover up and move in and crowd this guy. If he doesn't, he's going to get donged.
Now, he's got the weight, he's got the muscle. That's exactly what he's got to do.
Yeah. No matter what the result tonight, this young fella has a big, big future if he persists with the sport.
1-5. This is his second.
Yeah. Oh, and there he hits him with a beautiful back kick. Gary O'Neill, well done.
Yeah, absolutely, Greg. And I don't think Ali has really seen that part of the canvas too often in his short career, but he's getting a good look at it tonight. Bell sounded, the boys kept exchanging there.
Wobbling. Atoui. Where is my corner?
There's my room key. Maybe is the operative there. Meter mate comes.
What round is this?
First, round 5. Round 5.
The championship round.
Well, if Gary's going to do anything, or at least if Ali's going to do anything, it's going to have to be in this round, obviously.
And just looking at Gary here, he looks very, very fresh. He doesn't seem to have been knocked around at all so far in this fight.
Well, Gary started off. Both boys were tentative. Ali being a little bit tentative, judging by his record, but Gary O'Neill, the more confident now.
Oh, right, the left kick. Geez, he snuck that right through the guard without any trouble at all.
His speed. He's got speed either. Standing count.
Crowd's gone deathly silent around us at the moment. I think they're witnessing a young man that's got a big future in the sport of kickboxing. And that kick's still going, and we're into the 5th round. This is the most impressive thing about this young man. He is a very, very fit athlete.
And he's used his energy wisely. This has to be pointed out. Gary O'Neill just picked off Ali Atoui.
The boys running for Gary O'Neill.
Yeah. And if anything, this break in the proceedings is helping Ali at the moment because he's getting a breather.
And of course, there's nothing more energy enhancing than getting a few good kicks in like that.
I thought Ali had this in that first round. He was very composed, very controlled, but this young man has just assumed control as every round has gone on, and we've worked through the fight.
Because Gary had a good look at Ali in the first round, saw the weaknesses, saw the openings, and he's moved in beautifully.
Maybe Ali might try a different pair of shorts next time or something.
Well, these ones don't seem to work, mate.
So flick those shorts as we complete the fight. And we have a very cut open young man here, and I'm sure the medical people will be straight onto that.
Yeah, we've got a clear winner here, I think.
The medical people will be straight onto that and sorting out very, very quickly. But this young man has a very, very big future. But like anything, he's got to maintain the edge. And there's a bit of a shower coming in too, which is good to see. Very appreciative in boxing when the shower does happen. And he earned that too. It's only a little one, but he earned that. Absolutely. A little bit of coinage in the ring there. Oh, our next fight coming up is our light heavyweight. David Turner versus Dominic Delingi.
In the corner, fighting
here comes Dominic in the ring, out of our blue corner. And it's interesting to see the fashion stakes here. Now Dom's gone for a very tight-fitting pair of shorts in the black and white. And we've seen baggy shorts. We've seen
rode his bike here.
Yeah, he might have.
Oh, he's looking good.
Very impressive.
Oh, yeah, there's a jumping reverse hook kicks there.
Someone better tell him that he's got a box.
David Ferner. Of course, we saw his brother earlier on, Paul.
Now, this is a bit of a controversy too, local Brisbane lads.
Yeah, I think Dominic's got the form. He's had 12 fights with 2 wins, only 1 loss and a draw. David, as said, his brother Paul earlier, did very well, but Dave's had 6 fights.
Which is quite a bit of experience there.
Well, Dominic's very, very fit looking, and he looks ready to rock and roll. He got in that ring and showed off a few kicks, a few roundhouses, and showed good elevation on his kicks.
Yes, he did it all without boxing shorts on too, mate.
Let's see what happens now. Maybe he'll get on his bike somewhere in this fight and ride off into the sunset.
So, judging by the way Dominic Delingi hopped into the ring, he's a kicker. Relies more on his feet.
Well, the two boys are just feeling one another out again. And we're looking at 5 1.5-minute rounds, if it goes the distance. And that was a very wayward backhander.
Backhander. Illegal.
Totally illegal. Points deducted if that continues.
Yes, warning and then deduction.
Okay. Now we're seeing a bit of an exchange. Look at these. Geez, he likes to kick this young man.
2 roundhouse kicks.
Oh, but I tell you what, you've got to have one leg on the ground when you do.
And that's right, he walked into a beautiful jamming front kick there from David Ferner.
That might quieten him down a little bit. Now, David definitely not the build of the other fighter, but once again, he's just proven that that's not important. Good glove speed from both these boys. Oh, a little bit of holding too in the clinch. Now, the ref's going to have to watch this. Geez, he gets that left leg up very high.
He's got beautiful roundhouse kicks, Dominic Delingi.
Oh,
but I tell
what
you
a
what,
right hand!
Sit down, Dave. Sit down there.
Just put your seat back under your bottom there, son. A big right hand from Dave. That was an enormous right. It just stopped him dead in his tracks.
This Dominic's a little bit over-eager at the moment. He's running in there with his technique. He's showing good technique, but he's leaving his guard down, and he's running into a lot of fist and feet at the present time.
Completion of round 1, and I tell you what, unfortunately, style doesn't always win, so Dominic's going to have to take a loss on that first one, John.
It got evened up very neatly towards the end there.
I think I would definitely go for David on that one. I think
Dominic has to think more. Dominic has the weapons, he has the technique, but of course he's not thinking at the moment.
Maybe that's the reason why.
Well, I couldn't think of a better reason.
Well, round 2 of our 5-rounder, 1.5 minutes each round. And the boys are just getting a little bit of a pep talk at the moment.
Because what they'd be saying to Dominic, get that guard up.
Absolutely. Don't get
Stop
too
it.
loose with your kicks, I think.
He's too overzealous at the present time.
Yeah, be stylish, but make sure it counts.
He's rushing in. He's definitely got the goods. It's just a matter of putting the package together.
David Turner, Ferner, I should say. I keep saying Turner, it's Ferner. The more composed of the 2 boxers at this present time.
And as I said when they first got in the ring, you've got to box as well. It's great to be a good kicker, but you've got to be able to follow up with your boxing technique, and that first knockdown definitely came from it.
There's Dominic's
nice little punch.
thinking a little more now. There he goes. He's got beautiful technique, a lovely side kick here. Thrusts us out beautifully.
Well, he's a very fit boy, and he's very well sort of proportioned for the sport of kickboxing. But I like David's defence. It's very good defence he has.
He's looking very good, David Ferner. Very composed. And he's got the right technique to deal with this guy, as it has been shown so far.
Oh, he gets hooked up. Dominic gets very hooked up. If he keeps that going, he's going to leave himself very open for some bad body work. There's that ranging right hand again.
So Dominic has to thrust his leg out more.
Ferner likes to range with that right hand. He likes to throw it out there and just see what it brings him.
It's been bringing him quite a bit of late.
What's your preference, Greg, in this sort of contact sport? To have pads and the boots, or to...
I like them to hop in the ring and have a go at without the pads. I think it's a truer indication of how good a fighter the person is.
The fighters tend to cut much more, but
They do.
the padding.
They do.
That sort of brings a premature end to a lot of fights, I would say.
But then it comes down to the fact that these guys have to get their defence up and not let be hit by the fists and feet.
Training a classic kickboxer, what do you really look for? Do you look for someone who has awesome attack and just a bearable defence, or is the sport structured on defence first?
It's defence is the most important. Survival is the most important thing. And of course, then moving in on the attack. As Alex Atoui, we saw in the last World Championship, he had good defence, moved in close on Cashgill and did the job on him.
Well, that fight, Alex Atoui and Cashgill, was one of the biggest fights I've ever seen. I could not believe that fight. The way those two boys went at it, I thought one of them was going to expire from a heart attack rather than a knockout.
A classic seesawing battle.
Well, the boys are back out there, and a couple of good exchanges, and I think Dominic got the better of that.
Oh, there's a nice left and right by David Ferner. So impressed with this guy. He's so composed.
He is, isn't he? Very well credentialed in this area.
We'll see how he handles this. Because it looks like
now he's going after him. He's got a good set of hands on him, this fella. Dave Ferner, and fighting out of that Brisbane stable. I'd hate to run into him in a bar somewhere, I tell you. This young man can handle himself very, very well. Dominic is a little green, I would say, at the moment. Great kicker. He just doesn't have the glove defence, does he?
No. Dominic, he's a very experienced campaigner. He's had 12 fights. It's quite surprising he's not a little more composed. But of course, David Ferner, he's an unnerving type of fighter. You don't know what's going to come out next. Just keeps coming back.
Starting to tire now. If you look, he's getting a little bit more ragged. And that could be a bit of a worry. Ferner's done enough to win it from here on. All he wants to do now is just cover up.
Hang in there.
I think he just wants to cover it up and take it from here in. And,
he's a big boy. I think he's got a bit of reserve left there, mate.
Delingi's definitely after kicking. He loves to kick. He wants to roll those legs over and kick. And of course, coming up later on the card, we've got our 2 world title contests. That's going to be great to see. As the boys sort themselves out.
Coming to round 4 now.
All right, here we go. The boys are back out there again. Just once again, the speed of the fight slowed down a little now. Greg, these two guys are obviously feeling the effects of those early rounds, and now they're sort of just taking a bit of a breather. I don't think you really recover too much when you're in the corner.
It's a very hot day here today too. Of course, that's drawing energy from the
He's got good left and right combinations with those hands. Ferner's just every time nails him with that left and right.
It's quite interesting. You get some fighters are tailor-made for other fighters, and at the present time, Dominic seems to be tailor-made for David.
Would these fellows do much running of any substance to try and get their cardiovascular up?
Bit of road work, quite a bit of road work's involved in preparation for a bout like this.
Weight training?
Yes, weight training, and of course, light weights, plenty of repetition and working on plenty of speed, plenty of bag work. But these guys you use an incredible amount of energy.
Now, you won't call that a knockdown, I don't think. No, straight back into the action. No, definitely not a knockdown.
It's a full-on explosive energy, so these guys have to have plenty of...
Delingi's still keeping those kicks going, which is a promising sign that the man is very, very fit. His appearances of a very fit young man, and he is keeping it up that way too.
He's got a really big future, this boy, with such style. He's very graceful fighter.
It's just a matter of getting it all together and putting it on the mat. That's the hard part.
Putting the opposing
fellow on the mat.
Yeah.
So what have we got here?
I think he got a little bit of a mouth laceration, and the referee was straight in. The mouth guard actually popped out, so the referee was straight in to make sure everything was all right.
End of round
4, I think you'll find. To come out for the 5th and final round. Well, boys, I'm going to put you on the mat here. Who's winning this one?
Oh, the fly, undoubtedly, mate.
David Ferner won those first early rounds. Dominic Delaney came back in that last round. I thought he did very well in that last round. A laceration to David Ferner's mouth.
Well, the only knockdown has gone to Ferner, so at this point, I would split it even as we go into the 5th.
This is easily the most even bout of the evening today.
Yeah, two very well-matched guys here. And of course, this is no matter the result, will end up in a rematch without doubt.
That's an unusual technique used over the
He's going
referee.
to have to pinch him for a point, maybe. No, he's just warned him.
Coming in with a hammer hand. I've never seen that before in the kickboxing ring.
John, I know you're going to go down to ringside for us a little later on and get an even closer look at the action. And interesting to see how it pans out once you're down there.
Mate, I'm really anxious to see some close-up action. I want to see Grant as he works the boy from Britain there, the Brummy Dunny, they call him.
The Brummy Dunny, mate. How do you compliment these two boys are hammers and tongs as we're into the final stages of the 5th round. And this is open slather at the moment. I said to you going into this round that it was a two-way split. My cohorts don't agree with me, but we are seeing some rather heavy exchanges in these closing stages. These are going to be two very bruised boys at the end of this fight.
The crowd loved them.
I have to agree with you though, Mike. They are very even. A lot of heart, these two boys.
The stomach muscles on Dominic are incredible. He's a very, very fit young man. He's obviously done a lot of gym work, Greg, to get that up to speed and to be...
These guys have to have incredible stomach muscles. That's where all their power comes from in kicks and punches, and also they take quite a few blows to the stomach region.
You can see a few of the welts there on Dominic's back that he's sustained during the fight. We'll have a decision for you in a very short moment. I'll just calibrate up their points.
Well, I wouldn't like to be a judge.
Mate, it's a hard one to pick, as I said.
Too close to call.
As they come out to centre ring.
Between Dominic, Delingi and David Turner, the judges have determined the fight to be a draw.
Yes.
Well, gentlemen.
We picked it.
Delingi.
Yeah, that's a top fight too.
You've seen two very good boxers, one a kicker and one a puncher.
And looking around at the crowd, they agree with that decision too.
It's a very popular decision. I'm going to go down to ringside now to catch the whole fight in its entirety.
And make sure you don't get too close to those meter maids, please. Well, we've got a little treat coming up for you now, and this man is without doubt the father of kickboxing. Some 300 fights, and he hasn't been put away. Sir Cab Pretendi. You can see the boys carrying around the belts that this man does own. And Greg, you got a bit of a story about him as he holds his hands up there in centre ring here at Jupiter's, but a bit of a misfortune for the man.
It's a bit of a misfortune last October. He won the WKA lightweight world championship, and he suffered his record. So we haven't seen him since then in the ring, but of course we're seeing him in there now. He is a kickboxing or Thai kickboxing legend. He's had over 300 fights and of course over 300 wins.
Incredible, man. And that injury, actually, Frank Bruno has just been cancelled out from fighting because of the same injury. And Sugar Ray Leonard, the famous boxer, also have suffered that same injury. So
Sugar Ray had made a bit of a comeback after getting his detached retina fixed up. But, of course, and Sakad's thinking about a big comeback too.
Well, he's looking a little big there, so to speak, than when he was fighting.
Yes, he's looking bigger than what he did last October. Last October, he was around the 63-kilo mark.
Well, this is... Sorry.
Oh, there he is, working out with his brother.
Yeah, just showing a little bit of the technique now. Of course, Thailand is the home of kickboxing. And
of Thai boxing, Muay Thai boxing. You see these guys, when he throws that fast roundhouse kick, this stuff works in this. They show the knees, they show the thighs, the elbows. They throw everything into their... every part of the body is used as a weapon in Thai boxing. And notice when he kicks with the shin. He uses the whole shin as a hit.
Very, very powerful. Look at him on an acceleration here. Look at the acceleration.
Crowd is going berserk. Look at it. It's just rapid-fire roundhouse kicks.
I'd hate to not like him.
No, I call him Sir.
Yeah.
Sir Cab.
Absolutely. And look, he's ecstatic with the response from the crowd. To have this man along for today is just, once again, showing the respect that he has for the sport and the people that are coming up through the sport. And he's a very likeable character. Well, we've got a demonstration bout. Now, this is a bit of a comical one, and I really like this young guy, Steve Superkick Vic. He's incredible, man.
So, yes. You know, Steve, as we said before in our last call together, Steve Superkick Vic a most appropriate name. He has every kick in the book.
Big raps on Dale Richards as well. He's also a great kicker as well.
They've got these two guys together because they both know how to throw their feet around.
Now, this is, of course, how they fight in Thailand. They're very much feet-oriented in Thailand.
They are. But this is not a Thai kickboxing exhibition. These guys are showing a little more kicking technique than they do in Thailand. Thai boxing is walk up, kick and belt. These guys are belting different parts of the body, like the head. And of course, different parts of the head.
Well, Dale in the red trunks and Steve is in the, how can we say it, the gold trunks. And he's just doing a little split here. Now, how's that for a split, mate? I'd bow too. If anyone could split like that in front of me, I'd bow too.
Well,
absolutely.
That, mate, he is in front of us.
I'm bowing. I'm bowing. Absolutely. Now you just watch these two fellas. This is basically a comical situation where the boys will just exhibit what kick ranges they do have and have a little bit of fun, just lighten the audience up before we have our 3 big fights come up here at Jupiter's. And speaking of Jupiter's, the management and staff here, and the facilities, is second to none.
I've never had a better time, mate.
Absolutely.
Well, equally the best time I've ever had anywhere else.
And just panning over the audience here, I can see that most of them are quite well seated. They're obviously enjoying the refreshments and most of all, the action.
Of course, everyone's comfortable here.
And of course, it's just proving that casinos aren't always for gambling. They can have good sporting functions inside.
But for many users, as the show today, you can get out of a casino.
Now you see the boys are pulling their kicks here. They're not actually following right through with their total body weight. They're just sort of light sparring, if you'd like to call it that. And
look very closely at these guys. They're showing incredible technique.
Right. He's going to frame over the ropes. Just a bit of comical play.
Coming back to the old World Championship wrestling.
He'll sort the ref out here as well. He's out of the ring. Sir, would you like to take the front row seat, please, and then move it to the rear? Thank you.
I wouldn't like to be a second, either.
Well, the boys are just really lightening up the audience, and we can see the people filing in. Obviously, the words hit the outer reaches of the club. The things are starting to heat up in here, and of course, Grant Barker will be coming up very shortly.
Here he goes. There's Steve Super King Vic showing a lovely stretch there.
It was amazing that stretch he did earlier, but of course, as I was saying, Grant Barker will be coming up against Tyrone Herod, and that's going to be a tough one.
Yes, I've heard a lot about Tyrone Herod, or what I have heard about him is he's a good fighter, a hard fighter.
But mate, these guys have got a future in acting, I think. Maybe stand-ups or wrestling. Yes, we can see it go the same way. No steroid wrestling. That could be the way it sees it to go. Well, fight card comes up. This is the one I've been waiting for. I'm a good friend of Grant Barker's, and I respect him immensely. Versus Tyrone Herod from the UK. And as I said, it's a long trip over. Tyrone's definitely not come here for the holiday.
Tyrone just definitely means business.
Very stylish fighter, I believe. Very, very stylish fighter. Has good technique and a very good defence pattern. Now, he's going to need that against Grant Barker. And the worst thing you can do with Grant Barker, I think, is actually hurt him.
Oh, it hit him. It just presses the adrenaline button. You can see that steam coming out of his ears. He just goes... well, he has the right temperament to be a great kickboxing champion.
He's similar to a Mike Tyson sort of mould, very thick through the shoulders, the traps area above the shoulders and the neck, without a lot of muscle definition. About 93 kilos he was here, I think about 91, 93 kilos, somewhere in that range.
He made the weight quite comfortably.
Yes, he didn't even take his tracksuit or anything off, or shoes. He was there easy.
Mick Spinks gets his guys prepared very well.
He's very thick through the upper body as well, very thick through the chest department. And now both boys have ended without their gloves on, just giving the hands a little bit more time to free up. Now what we'll explain to our viewers is the simple fact is that this is a no-kick card, so there's no kick count on this. It can be as little as 2 or as many as 52.
As you see a lot of these heavyweight guys, they tend to use their hands a lot more because doing the kicks, throwing your legs around, takes up a lot of energy.
He's already got a sweat up. These boys would have raised their heart rate before coming into the ring, which is a good thing to do, and just makes that initial shock phase not so bad. Jeff Fennick very close ringside. I'm sure he'll be yelling out for Grant.
Well, the best way to get Grant Barker into action is to belt him.
Interesting to note, he's got Cash Gill as his second in the corner too, Tyrone, so he's got a great man behind him there to keep him motivated.
A very experienced man.
Well, you can see the two fellas have come out centre ring, and they're just, once again, like two prowling wild cats in the jungle. They're just sort of checking one another out, just feeling around, just seeing where the strong points are and the weak points. Only about 20 seconds into round one.
This was great about watching Grant Barker, the explosive action just takes off.
And the other situation we've got here is 10 2-minute rounds. So this is going to be a long day at the office. Now, Grant's not a good ring mover. He doesn't tend to control the ring very well. He tends to let his other fighters do that and give them the confidence of controlling the ring, and then he will just let them come into his trap.
Well, as we said before, Grant Barker likes to be belted. Oh, well, that's the best thing for him. Give him a good hit, and he comes back bigger and better than ever.
Now, he's ranked number 6 in the world at the moment, and, of course, Stan Longinidis is ranked number 1. So Grant's looking to move up that ladder.
It's maybe not too far.
Oh, good right hand from Barker there early in the fight. Tyrone whooshed it off very quickly, but that was a good over-the-top right hand from him. Lefts and rights coming again from Tyrone. He's working in.
Grant Barker moving well, getting out of the way of those punches from Tyrone.
Barker's not scared to be caught in the corner. Now, he'll work his body weight. He does use his body weight well to position a boxer into that corner area and take care of him. Okay, Barker's just tied him up here. Referee will break him up. I'd hate to be the referee breaking these two boys up.
Well, these guys definitely know that they have 9 and a half more rounds in front of them.
Herod's come in at about 91 kilos, so he's just a little bit lighter than Barker, but a little bit taller too. So he's a little bit more rangier in build. His reach is a little longer too, so Grant's going to have to get inside him and work him out that way, I think.
I've just seen something interesting there. Cash Gill is taller than his fighter.
Cash Gill is a very tall man, mate, I tell you.
There's about 30 kilos difference too.
Yes, yeah, there is some difference. I thought he'd break in half when he was fighting Alex. It was unbelievable.
Fit young lady.
Okay, they're not taking water early in the fight. You can see our crowd there packed right in tight as we come out for round 2 of our 10 2-minute rounds here at Jupiter's Casino on the Gold Coast.
As Grant Barker lets one loose on Tyrone's thigh. These guys working the thigh region, that's their main aim. Working the thigh region, turning the legs to jelly. And of course, once they're jelly, they can't stand.
I had dinner last night in the restaurant, actually, speaking with Jelly, and it was a superb dinner. I could not fault the dinner. I'm quite appreciative of the service we have received as the boys really start to mix it up. Now look at Barker inside, and he loves to get in close. Drops that chin down, Greg, onto the chest, and he starts banging away with those fists.
Gets in and turns the mincing machine on.
Yeah, absolutely. He likes to get in close. Now Herod's going to have to work on keeping him at arm's length. And
Herod moving in again. He's using the right roundhouse kick to Barker's thigh region. They're moving in with the right-left combinations.
Barker not doing too much of the kicking at the moment, tending to saving his energy, and I think that's a good play.
That's right. Last fight we saw Barker a little bit tentative too with his movements, and we found out after the fight that he had a back problem. But this time he's looking very fit.
It's amazing to think that he was able to get away with that fight.
He's a gutsy guy. He's a gutsy fighter.
And he made it known to nobody. He carried it into the fight without telling us all. That's a good credit to the man.
Grant Barker doesn't want any excuses. He wants to get in there and fight.
Very well trained athlete we're looking at here from the UK in Tyrone Herod. He's tremendously well put together. He's worked very hard on the body to get it ready for this fight.
You see Grant Barker letting those big haymakers loose.
And I'll tell you what, you get on the end of one of those right-handers and you know what's on hits.
His heads will roll.
And look at this, we've got good camera action now as they work right into it. Barker's been at to be forced away. And Herod's just a little nonplussed at that tactics from Barker. He's giving him a standing cane of 8, and a count of 8, I should say. And at this point in time, I think Herod was a little surprised at that being instigated.
As we said, once Grant Barker warms up to the occasion, he's virtually unstoppable.
Oh, Barker's having a few words there too. It was a bit of a set-to at the end of the round there. This fight's hotting up.
It is hotting up. Barker's angry.
And I would not like to get Grant Barker angry at all. But you're going to need more than that towel, I think, to sort this out by the end of the night. The way he's going, you'll be flapping that over a cork flying on the ground if this continues. Barker is... had a few words to say, and that could be trouble.
And it just makes me proud looking at Barker in there to be an Australian, because the depth of Australian kickboxing is fabulous at the present time.
In his hometown of Cronulla, he is a hero, mate. He's acknowledged by all the people in the street, the storekeepers and the shop owners. And the community of Cronulla, where he actually resides, are right behind his career at the moment. And, that's going to make a big difference. A good right kick from Herod, but Barker straight in with the left and right, and followed up with his own right kick as well.
Because Barker's big hands, he's hand grenades in both hands.
Hands of stone. Over the body. Worked hard, and Herod felt that. He felt that badly. And I believe the Englishmen have been touting the fact that they were going to take back this fight's title with them, and Barker just let that go straight over his head. Didn't even care. He said, if you can take it, you deserve it.
Tell you what, if this guy does take it, he's going to be in for one hell of a fight. He'll know he's been in one hell of a fight.
Barker's the sort of fighter that you really have to put away. If you don't stop him, he can just come back. He can look like he's
like
gone.
He's doing now, Barker coming left and right. Now that uppercut, that's beautiful, working the body of Tyrone.
Herod's really sort of covering up at the moment, just lunging out with that left leg, trying to get Barker away from him, hanging on as much as he can. The ref will step in and separate the fighters. His guard has dropped by a couple of inches, Herod, so he's in a little bit of trouble right at this point in time.
Moving in again, he's just building that the left side of Herod's body.
Because of the build of Barker, you've got to actually you've got to hit him so hard to get him in and through. He's so solid.
Well, I like him, Barker, a juggernaut. He just moves in there and he just plows away.
I'm surprised here that Herod's not using his height advantage with his kick ratio and maybe trying to keep it as a big right uppercut and followed it with another right across the top, a short left. Barker is all over him at the moment.
Well, that's a good point anyway, Mark. Herod should be using his reach, should be using his legs, trying to keep Barker away.
He hasn't used his legs at all. Just looking at that now, I've got to score that a 2-1 situation. There's Jeff's in the ringside there, and he's enjoying this fight.
I wonder what Jeff Fennick's thinking.
Mate, knowing Jeff, he'd be cheering for an Aussie win, without a shadow of a doubt. Okay, as we come out for round 4, I split this at the moment. I think it's a 2-1 situation to Barker at the moment.
2-1 situation?
Yep. We go into round 4, and another right from Barker straight into that midsection.
Tyrone Herod has a perfect record. He's had 10 fights for 10 wins.
It's a classy record.
Of course, there's some pretty good stuff over in, pretty good fighters over in Great Britain.
But he's very lazy with his kicks, mate. He's very lazy at this point in time, and I think Tyrone, maybe jet lagged or something, he's just not flying with those kicks.
He just came in with a nice jab then.
Yeah, nice left jab.
Barker, but of course Barker just shrugs it aside, and as we said before, we belt Barker, he belts back.
Yeah, you've definitely got to hit him very, very hard to sort of slow him up.
There's Tyrone opening up a little bit now, coming on that roundhouse kick to Barker's thigh region, but Barker moves in again. He's crowding Tyrone.
Okay, the ref's very quick to break these boys up and keep them solid to make sure that they don't get too much of a rest here in this fight. 10-2 minutes, and we're into our round 4. Good left and right there from Herod. He snuck that through Barker's guard. Now let's see what Herod can do. He's got Barker back, but Barker's walking into him. Instead of staying on the ropes, he's forced him across the other side of the ring.
Barker showing his incredible endurance and strength.
He stung him a couple of times there, and yes, absolutely, yeah, I've got to give that. He's stung him. He's giving him a standing 8. So Barker was stung there, but he was able to keep his momentum forward to sort of lessen the blows and get back inside. Closes in straight away. Get in there tight, Grant, and he'll hang him on. Barker in a little bit of trouble here at the moment.
Barker hanging on.
Yeah.
And of course, yes.
Now this is the problem for Herod. Now you can see Barker forces him back. He has no problem in going into Herod's corner even. Working him over into that blue corner, and he's got no problems at all. His guard's a little low.
Oh, after the battle.
Well, a couple of late ones. Well, Mick Spinks is going to have his work cut out for him in the corner. He's going to have to work him up to speed because that
great
round...
Barker can show these championship qualities and come back after that round. I give that round definitely to Tyrone Herod.
And you're looking at a 2-way split at the moment, 2 rounds apiece.
2 rounds apiece.
As we come up for round 5 in this 10-round competition. Now, once again, no kick cards in this. It's an open kick card, so they're not counting the kicks. So, as we said, there could be 2 kicks or there could be 50 kicks. And at the moment, there's a lot of punching.
That's not even 2 kicks, mate, yes.
But I'm surprised at Herod. He hasn't kicked above, I would say, the midsection since this fight started.
He mainly aims for Barker's thigh region. He should be thrusting his legs out and jamming out Barker, stopping Barker from moving in.
And Barker seems tired, but he just wanted to keep walking straight over to him.
We have seen Barker in this state before. We have seen him tired, and then he just comes back. Can he come back this time?
Absolutely.
He has to go back to the corner, compose himself. And
he sneaks that right uppercut in. Jeepers, it just missed.
It's a very dangerous.
Just grazed the chin there of Herod, and he's going to have to watch that, because if Barker lands that, it's good night.
Herod moving in again on Barker.
Now, Herod expended a lot of energy in that previous round, and Barker's quite prepared to let him continue to do so. I think Barker got a little bit complacent in that fourth round, and he's paying the price.
This is, we see Barker in situations like this, and suddenly he comes out with a huge haymaker, which hits the spot.
Oh, like that. Yes, on that right-hander. And that's definitely sorted Herod out. He's now hanging on. Oh, the ref's very quick in. Greg, you called that expertly well. He's being sent to the neutral corner. Expert call there, Greg. That was a very good call. As soon as you called it, there it came. Straight out, big right hand. He might have heard you. Big right hand. Look, Barker's always across the ring. He's ready to go. You want my title, you've got to come and get it. Another big right hand. Herod will get another standing 8 here for sure. We'll get another standing 8. Well, they don't. They've stopped it. Stopped it. Absolutely. They've thrown the towel in, so they've stopped it, and Barker was just getting going. I can't believe that. That's a premature stop to the fight.
Barker loves to fight, and of course he's a little bit disappointed that it didn't go on.
Oh, a bit concerned there. That's a very premature. I think they should have at least given him another standing 8. Think? He's definitely
the towel was thrown in.
There you go. Yeah, that's his
second. It's a very sensible second.
No, very good work. And actually, Cash Gill in the corner there. So obviously, Cash is a man that knows
what it's like to be knocked out.
Yep. And I tell you what, the poor fellow's still wobbly on his feet.
Well, the test series between England and Australia, 2-0 Australia.
Absolutely. Greg Barker, devastating form. Mate, you called it so well, Greg. He was in trouble, and you said he'll bring one out of the bag, and he reached into his toolkit, and out it came.
As we both said, that's when he's at his most dangerous.
He wants to get SIP game or something like that for a sponsor. I can't believe that, man. Matt Truckman should call him. Unbelievable. It's going to be a long flight home for Tyrone. I tell you, maybe they might put him in the baggage compartment or something. Let him stretch out a little. Ease the swelling. It's a little bit cooler in the baggage compartment than up in the cabin. But, mate, it's good effort for him to come over. And they came over here to win. And you can see Barker, he has worked very, very hard with that fight.
Oh, it just makes me think what Grant Barker might have done in his last bout if he didn't have that back problem. He's looking great.
A little bit of blackening under the left eye there, mate, as Barker holds up his hand to salute to the Jupiter's crowd here. 2,000 plus, and typical Greg Barker, he grabs that microphone and he's away.
Everybody coming along to Jupiters to support the sport. We've got Stan on the knees next. Then average 2 in on. They'll be winners, they'll be world champions. I'd like to thank Tyrone. It's a long way to come to lose, but whichever way it went, I was going to win. Made up of trying to mix things. But thanks very much, ladies and gentlemen. And soon I'm going to be fighting for the world title. So if everyone comes along and supports me, thank you.
He said it before. He said it before he's going to go after that world title. And looking at that, he has got some work to do, but Greg. I think he was in a little bit of bother there, especially in that fourth round. So as our fight card comes up, and this is our world champion, Alex Atoui from Australia, against Ronnie Delon from the US of A. And this is going to be a big one. Of course, Alex won that in fine style. We were there for that one, and that was against Cash Gill at the Sports Centre. And mate, as we called it, it was a mismatch. It was sort of like David versus Goliath. And
a wonderful seesawing encounter. But just know that the height difference between those two was incredible.
Well, Leon is Delon. I'm going to get it right. Delon. Good, you've got it right, mate. Thank you.
Ronnie Delon.
Oh, I'm sorry about that pronunciation to our US people. Delon. You got it right. Took us a while. But here he comes. He's on the ride with him there.
And you wouldn't believe this. I'm in a bike shop the other day, and I'm standing at the counter, and who should walk in but Alex Toohey? And I was standing there, and I'm looking, and I know this fella. I turned around and said, Alex Toohey, and the shyness of this man was incredible. He virtually dropped his head down, put his hand out to shake my hand, and he was just so polite. You know, he didn't even know me. I had to sort of introduce myself to him and sort of just enlighten him to what I do involved in kickboxing and so forth. And he was just such a very, very polite man. Wished him best for his fight. And he said that if they want this title, they're going to have to kill me to get it. And I just sort of went, well, Alex, I'm with you, buddy. you want to do anything, I'll give you a hand, you know? Well, the boys are in the centre ring now. This is just final instructions, just sort of sort these fellows out. We are looking at a title fight. Now, this is for the WKA World Light Middleweight over 12 two-minute rounds. Now, I don't know too much about Ronnie, but looking at this, I don't hold too much for Ronnie.
I saw Ronnie in a movie the other day. It was an incredible... Jean-Claude Van Damme was in this particular movie, and this guy is tough.
Well, they're at round one straight away. You wouldn't be faint-hearted coming from the US scene because it's a very heavy scene.
It's a very tough street fighting style.
Have you got some fight card information on him there?
He comes from Corpus Christi, Texas.
Corpus Christi in Texas. That's a funny place to come from with a name like he's got for his last name. Very nice shorts that Alex is wearing there. It's a little bit of Elton John touch, isn't it? You know, maybe we'll see him coming out with the big
world champion look about him.
Absolutely, mate. He had that the other day in the shop that I was standing in. But he's
those pants on, did he?
Yeah, not those pants, but just that look about him that I'm the world champion and you got to come and get it. But such an unassuming young man.
Well, as I have heard before that they likened him to Clark Kent.
Yeah, well, I don't know.
He's a Superman in the ring, and
I haven't seen no Jimmy Olsen's or Lois Lane's hanging around, I can assure you of that. But see, Alex is such a well-paced fighter. You'll see this, he has such a good combination. His hands, he's not strong in any one area.
Well, his hands are his big strength. He's got a good roundhouse kick, the right roundhouse kick there, we saw it there, and then he moves in with the hands normally. He's a crowder, and as we saw against Cashgill.
Oh, tremendous crowder with that ability there.
But Alex Toohey has had 29 wins, 3 losses, and of course 2 draws, and 19 of those by KO. 19 of the wins by KO.
That's an incredible card that he's got under his belt there, and I don't think that Mr. Delon is going to be sticking around too long looking at this. He just doesn't have the credentials for my liking against a world champion. And when you've got your title on the line, I think you're 10% better.
You have this aura about you.
Geez, this auditorium has filled up.
There we go, Alex Toohey knocking him off his feet. A big
now, just wiping the gloves there and let him straight back into it. And Alex was straight up to him. Okay, Ronnie, he's ranked 4 in the world at this present time, so he's obviously a threat to Alex, but I think he is totally outclassed.
Although his record is a good one, he's 19 fights. Yes, of course, he's had 1 loss, 1 draw, and 8 of those by KO. So he doesn't have a big KO record.
Nothing like Alex does.
No, and it's interesting to note that Alex's KO record has skyrocketed of late. Every single fight I've seen.
Oh, he's relishing at the moment. He is really enjoying his sport. He is enjoying it to the max, and I think you're seeing most probably one of the best exponents of kickboxing in this country.
He's a real thinker. Moving in, he uses his hands very well, as I said before, as was said before. Here we go, that's a low kick. The referee might give...
it'll be called a kick. Yep, straight back into it.
Ronnie, a bit of a warning there.
Ronnie likes to shuffle on his feet, he likes to dance a little, and whereas Alex just likes to cut down the ring and just cut it off, make it hard for you to move around.
Yeah. Ronnie, looking at Ronnie so far, he seems to be lacking in the kicking area. Haven't seen much from the feet.
Well, so far of the exchanges, Alex has got it. Round 1 went to Alex, just marginally, I thought. But
there he goes, Alex moving in again with that right roundhouse kick to the thigh region, then moving in with the hands.
But once again, feet came out from under him. Not a knockdown, just a wipe of the gloves.
Yep. Could we have a slippery canvas again?
No, I think both these boys are just trying that little bit harder than normal, that little bit 10% extra, and both catching themselves off balance.
Of course, they're hitting with incredible power.
Okay.
There you go. Hit on the
Just
inside.
hanging on there. Ronnie's just hanging on a little bit then, and Alex snuck in a couple of little lefts and rights that snapped back the head, just like that one snapped back his head.
Well, this is a good old-fashioned brawl.
Well, if he does that, mate, he's falling right into Alex's plot.
Alex loves the brawl.
The holding is not allowed, as you can see it. And, well, the first high kick from Alex. Now, he let that go, and it was well towards the jaw area, and didn't connect. But
That'll make Ronnie think anyway.
Absolutely, but let him know that he is capable of delivering that sort of blow.
This Alex Toui's right leg, very dangerous. And those uppercuts are dangerous too. See Ronnie's head snapping back there.
I'm surprised. Ronnie's come on a little bit since that opening round and doesn't look nowhere near as fit as Alex.
Ronnie's a brawler. He's prouder than a brawler. And the same as Alex, but I guess we're just looking at the class difference here.
Well, as I was saying before, this Jupiter's Casino is a tremendous venture for us here in kickboxing, and I can't fault it. Cameron Quinn's our referee, and Cameron's very, very experienced. He's our meter mate. Comes back and does a little tush to the camera. I like that. Very nice, very nice. Very nice little curtsy there. Cameron Quinn. Now, Cameron is very well heralded in the referee stakes, and to get a world title fight, you must really, really know the rulings.
You have to be on your toes.
Absolutely.
Especially these guys looking at Alex Atoui moving in beautifully on Ronnie.
He's cutting down that ring every time. He's on the ropes. He doesn't mind fighting.
He can throw the leather, but it's not hitting the spot. It's not as
that's uppercut, yes. 2 uppercuts through the guard straight away. Ronnie's going to have to watch it. Over the top. Alex was able to duck under that one.
Yes, Alex moving out of the way very well.
Again with that uppercut. Now he swung him around. Did you see that move then? Very clever done from Alex too. He actually swung him around. Ronnie's in a little bit of trouble at the moment. I would not be surprised to see a premature end to this fight. Ronnie is in a lot of trouble, I would say, and just trying to work out whether he can last the next, or whatever's left in this round.
There we've got 2 fighters exactly. Their styles are very similar, but it comes down to the punches and kicks, and Alex Atoui at this present time seems to have that area covered.
Atoui working him into that neutral corner now, and he's banging away. Oh, big uppercut from Atoui. It was a 2-punch combination there. It was the right uppercut, Greg, at the end that sealed the fate, and I don't think this man's going to get up. He's at 5. There goes 6, 7, 8, 9. He's not going to get up. It's all over. Alex Atoui remains world champion.
And another knockout for Alex Atoui.
Yep, absolutely. It was visible there that Ronnie just didn't want any part of it midway through that round. Yeah, as he is lifted up by his corner bees, and they are very jubilant boys. But as I said, mate, such an unassuming man. You're getting into meeting him, you just wouldn't realise.
Outside of the ring, that is.
Yeah. Well, I'm never going to stand in the ring with that man, I can tell you now.
Not going the distance.
Yeah, not going the distance is the word today. But look at him, straight over there to check him out, and a little bit of blood coming from Ronnie. He's obviously been hurt very bad, but you could see by that combination that he took. It was 2 great uppercuts.
Two great uppercuts. Watching Alex Atoui in his lead up to his world title fight against Cashgill, he's a different fighter now. He's got loads of confidence.
He's maturing, isn't he?
Yes.
Very much so. He's maturing all the way to the bank.
To the bank.
Which teller, please?
Well, the belt's almost the same size as this.
I think it's the belt for somebody else, mate. And he absolutely celebrating his defence. Well, it was a great performance from Australia's Alex Atoui. There he is.
With Alan McQuillan and Sakat and his brother.
Fight cards up. This is the big one. The heavyweight title fight. WKA junior, I should say, heavyweight title fight. Stan Longanides from Australia against Lawrence White from the UK. Now this is fireworks time. Guy Fawkes night in the ring here. And Stan Longanides is a man possessed. He's a man on a mission.
Man on it.
Number 1 in the world to the world champion. He is the number 1 contender at this point in time, but he failed in taking that title.
He's very well tuned now. I think that was a good medicine for him, that last encounter with Maurice Smith. And of course, he's looking very fit, very strong, and very hungry.
Now, we'll be working over 12 two-minute rounds in this one, and this is going to be a world title fight ranking, so the way it works out, no kick cards. It's an open card fight, no kick cards on this, so we could once again see only 3 kicks, or we could see a number of kicks. How do you see this fight panning out?
Well, I think Stan's out to prove to the Australian crowd that he is a winner. He was a winner leading up to that encounter with Maurice Smith, and I think there's a good chance, every chance in the world, that he'll be up in the winning dais this time.
Now, this is a vacant title, okay? So no one holds this title that these two guys are fighting for, so either of them could win it and take the title with them, whether it be Stan back to Sydney, and in the case of Lawrence White, it'll be England.
Yes, well, Stan Longanides is the number 1 contender, and Lawrence White being the number 3 contender.
And he is current British and European heavyweight champion. So he's got some reps on him. Victory of 24 fights from 26 contests, 19 by KO. So the man's able to back it up. And of course, Stan Longanides, what can we say about Stan? He is one hell of a man. They call him Stan the Man.
21 fights,
yes,
1 loss, 1 draw, and of course 17 wins by knockout.
Mate, these guys pale into insignificance, but when you think about their 300 fights that our champion has got. Yes, 300 fights. Hope they all finished in the first round.
He's a nasty bit of work when he gets in. Cat.
Yeah, by shout every time. He just wouldn't have to put his hand in his pocket. Oh, boy, no problem. Anytime you want dinner? Yeah, sure, sit down. Stan's a very flamboyant character. You can see here his attire that he's worn is very showmanship orientated.
He's showing incredible flexibility here too. It's always a good way to psych out your opponent.
Well, Lawrence White in the colours of the devil. You never know. It could be the devil, maybe the devil from the deep blue sea. We can just see a very pertinent point here. Stan's just removed a Collingwood football jersey. And that's something that's very close to Stan's heart, actually. Unfortunately for the football industry in Victoria and for Collingwood and most probably for Stan himself, Darren Mullane was involved in a very serious car accident, and unfortunately he has left the world to a faraway place.
A lot of upset people over that incident. Had one of the biggest funerals in Melbourne history for that young man.
It's not a good thing to talk about, but of course Stan was a very close friend and is a great supporter of the Collingwood club, and that's why he's worn that jersey in there tonight to sort of like pay homage to a man that he had utmost respect for and a very good friendship with too. So it's going to be interesting, Greg, if he can do that tonight for that man that no longer with us.
Well, Stan's that sort of guy. He will offer this fight up, and I sort of because of that, I predict Stan to win tonight.
You can see the focus in the man's mind, and of course he's going to carry that weight with him through this fight. 12 rounds, 2-minute rounds, and Stan Longinidis, I can't say anything bad about the man. He's just a great ambassador for sport in general. We can see him in centre ring now. They're just getting final instructions that would have happened. Cash Gill jumping in there. He'll be working the seconds corner for Lawrence White. He's in there right now just to hear those final instructions. And as we let it go now, last instructions will be given out. Well, as we said, vacant title. It's going to be tough, mate. I want to have a decision from you. Who do you think? I don't know too much about that.
Leading up to that last encounter with Maurice Smith, Stan was undefeated, and he's hungry for a victory again. He didn't like the taste of defeat, and I think this guy Stan is going to do well tonight.
Well, both fighters looking very fit as they come out for round 1 in this 2-minute round fight. World title, it's a vacant title, so either man could take it away with them tonight. So no champion's going to get the benefit of the doubt, so to speak, if it comes down to a points decision.
There's a knockdown.
Is that a blatant knockdown? It is. He's given him a standing 8 count. Stan, the man, has beaten the canvas in the first 40 seconds.
Combination knockdown slip. Because Lawrence White moving in.
Gee, Lawrence White is a big, big man. Look at the definition on this man. He's tall. He would be coming in on the scales at around 93 kilos, would you say? Around about
93 kilos. Stan the man fought, it was in the ring against Maurice Smith, a similar proportions to this guy.
Now, Stan took a lot of punishment in that fight. Is that going to tell tonight?
No, what it did show was that Stan is tough and that he can take punishment. And of course, I think that's good. Every opponent he's had in the past, it is White, and Maurice Smith brought him back to earth.
Very stockily set, very thick through the legs. And I think you're going to see him trying to get in, Stan will try and get in close and sort him out and nullify the reach advantage that Lawrence White has, because it's a big, big advantage.
Lawrence White, as we said before, has to use his legs, has to push him away, jam with those legs. There he goes again, moving in with the front kick. Stan gets out of the way very well. Stan moves in, throws a bit of glove, foot, and gets out of the way.
Lawrence White's looking very impressive at this point in time, and Stan, the man, is going to have his work cut out. He's had a knockdown in the first 40 seconds of round 1, and that's not a good way to start your title.
Not a good way to start,
chance.
But could be a blessing in disguise. You've got to be more careful.
No, White's just prancing around the ring, very relaxed, and just picking his moment. Lawrence is White's round, without doubt.
Knockdown?
Yep, got to give it to him. I'd score that maybe a 10-8 round.
10-8.
So that's a big comeback. He's going to
generally, with a knockdown like that, it is generally 2 points.
And Stan looks a little worse for wear there.
Well, Stan's, he hates to be, anyone hates to hit the canvas. Stan doesn't especially like to hit the canvas.
Well, I don't think it's hitting the canvas. It's looking up at the lights. That's what scares me.
Well,
you wait for the angels. You wait for the angels just to descend upon you and pick you up. But we're looking at a very, very determined Lawrence White. Can't get over that fight from Alex Atoui. Just proved yet again he is, without doubt.
Can anyone in his weight division beat him?
I don't think so, mate. Back to round 2. Here we go. And our main fight tonight, Stan Longinidis, the man they call him, from Melbourne, up against, you guessed it, Lawrence White from Birmingham in England. And look at this, the exchanges are starting to heat up. Stan Longinidis is running that right leg out a couple of times, front kicks.
Front kicks, and he's got a good left roundhouse kick too. He's very fast. He skips and belts it out.
He does skip too, very good point. He's got
terrific footwork.
Well, we're watching him now. The exchanges are starting to pick up. This fight's starting to pick up in momentum.
There he goes. You see the flexibility of Stan there. Lifts his leg up beautifully, and of course he didn't let it go then.
I think Lawrence White's confidence has dropped a little bit since that first round. They've seemed to taper off a little, and he's now concentrating on just keeping his guard up and keeping Longinidis away from him.
Lawrence White, being an experienced campaigner, knows that Stan would come back from, or he just realised that it was a little bit of lack of concentration by Stan.
Yeah, because he snuck it in. It just caught me by surprise too.
Well, Stan was tripping, and he snuck that, so it was a knockdown.
Yep, well, you've got to give it to him. So round 1 went to Lawrence. And now, Stan the Man working on bringing back round 2.
I noticed in Stan the Man's last encounter with Maurice Smith that Maurice worked Stan's thigh region a lot.
He did, didn't he? Yes. He kicked very heavily on that area, and Stan took that without any drama.
He took it well, and but he had a few bruises there after the match.
Yeah, absolutely. But it didn't take him off his feet.
No.
Nullified the kick a little that he does possess. But Stan likes to get in and brawl, really. He does like to get in there and exchange it. He's not too scared, and he can take punishment.
Both these guys aren't brawling. Oh, here moves Stan, moving in again.
Good left, right kick there, and then followed it with a left over the top. And they hold up again.
Because both of these guys have a healthy respect for each other.
Yeah, neither fighter cutting down the ring. They're both prepared to let the other fighter move around and cover on that ring.
Well, mate, it is a long...
Lawrence White got the better of that quick exchange then, and then as the seconds jump up on the side of the ring, Lawrence White goes back to the blue corner, Stan back to the red corner. We complete round 2. Greg, what's your thoughts?
Long way to go, mate. 10 rounds to go. Pretty even.
Where would you say? Round 1 definitely to Lawrence White. Round 2? Even round. So still we're looking
Lawrence White.
Yeah, we're looking at Lawrence White in front as we head into round 3. Stan getting a little bit of an ice pack on the back of the neck there. That helps a little bit with the temperature of the body, I believe, and cools you down a little. Seconds will be out of the ring as we commence round 3 here at Jupiter's Casino on the picturesque Gold Coast of Australia. You can't beat it. A little bit of moisture there on Stan's feet and in the corner. He's been made to wipe that up as we commence round 3.
There's Stan moving that beautiful left hand. He's getting his left moving beautifully.
Yes, good fighting from Stan. He's come on well out of this round. That came from nowhere, Greg. It just started.
Came from nowhere. He's very well coordinated with his left side, Stan.
Oh, another left over the top. He's hit him twice now with that looping left hand over the top. So obviously the guard is not as good as I thought it was on Lawrence White.
Well, I think we might see some fireworks in this round. These guys have been checking each other out the first 2 rounds.
Yeah,
and,
I think so, yeah. Good call. Very good call, Greg, as they start to really mix it up now. Oh, geez, he just missed with that over the top again, that left. He loves to throw it, doesn't he?
There's a jab from Stan. Of course, not hitting the mark of Lawrence White.
Okay, Lawrence White just once again, they're both staying in centre ring. Neither fighter trying to corner the other boxer into the corner and take him down.
Looking at both fighters, Stan seems to be the more gifted of the 2 in the kicking department. And of course his hands are looking very good too, Stan. But Lawrence White's hands are looking good too. There we go. Stan comes in with a kick to Lawrence's thigh. Crowd a little bit quiet at the present time.
Lawrence is just a little lost then in the ring.
Because Lawrence has this habit of turning his back on Stan. That's a dangerous thing to do.
Well, because when you turn around, you know where he's going to be. On your doorstep. So far, the ref hasn't had to break them up too much either. So both fighters are still, relatively fresh, and they're not involving themselves in too many clinches.
No, well, there are 12 rounds here. It's going to be a long fight. These guys are using their energy wisely at the present time. Both guys looking very fit.
Oh, for sure. It's a credit to both them and their corners for the amount of work that they've done with these 2 fellows. And when they get tight, it's important that you are 100% situation. As we know, the champion, if he's a champion, he normally gets the benefit of the doubt. Not tonight. I think one of these fighters is going to definitely have to stop the other. And they're just taking out now. It's 3 rounds down. I would still say that Lawrence White is out in front, Greg.
Lawrence White, I'd say that round was a draw again. Stan the man beginning to find his feet, thrusting out that left roundhouse kick, head-high region, and of course he showed that he was using his right turning kick to the thigh region of Lawrence White. Lawrence White's second cooling him down with the towel.
Lawrence White is on the contender listing, is sitting in at number 3. So this is very important for his career, that he establishes himself here in Australia to lament a possible title shot. But at the moment, that Maurice Smith is just awesome. There's no other way to say it. Darryl Eastlake should say huge, because he's unbelievable the way he fights.
Well, he can take. That's what the beauty of Maurice Smith. Don't get me wrong. There's nothing beautiful about him. It's just his fighting style is fabulous. He can take punishment and
Stan's just snuck that left and right. It was a good exchange from Stan, and he got that through the guard on Lawrence White. And Lawrence a little off balance at the moment.
That's like Stan coming over with that big right hand.
Lawrence grabs his composure, snaps that left hand out again.
So there's Stan showing his flexibility and his speed with that right, or that left leg, I should say.
That left kick, but it's not connecting, mate, and it's only wasteful energy. So is that left, wasted again.
He's giving Lawrence White, I think, a warning, hopefully.
Well, Stan can get on target. There's a good chance he could take this bout, but he's going to have to do to get on target. He's got to find it. The hand speed of both.
Right-left combination by Stan.
The hand speed of both these boxers, Greg, is very, very good.
Well, these guys, they're ranking, they're not up there for nothing. Number 1 and number 3 in the world.
No, Lawrence White's calling Stan on, saying, come on, you want to give it to me? Come on, he's talking to him, teasing him, smiling at him.
And Stan obliging him.
Once again, the ropes haven't been used very much by either boxer. They get on them and they just get off them very quick.
No guys let loose yet. Here we go. But there just hasn't been a
flurry. No, they're just small flurries, aren't they? They're not following through at all.
They still have this good respect for each other.
We saw in the earlier bout where Barker got the other fellow in trouble and just steamrolled. Whereabouts both of these guys, when the other guy seems a little bit off his game, they've backed off. He's down, And as we complete round 4, I would say the card is coming close to being even.
Coming close to being even. No, I think Stan did more that round. I would give that round to Stan.
Doesn't seem to have too much bruising or swelling around the face. So at this point in time, Stan pops in the mouth guard. Okay, seconds out. There's a hush comes over this crowd. They're obviously enthralled by what's taking place right in front of them here at Jupiter's Casino. As we come out, round 5. And for the first time, fighters come out very quickly on top of one another. Lawrence White working away on Stan. Oh, Stan snuck in a good left and right then. Good exchange from Stan.
Stan lunging out with that big left hand and then coming in with the right roundhouse kick. Stan's looking good. Stan's gaining more confidence.
He likes to come on later in the fight, Stan, and he's proving that here, that he warms up to the task as opposed to accelerate.
Stan's an incredibly fit athlete. Because he uses that fitness wisely in the ring.
Lawrence White still standing very, very upright and using that height advantage that he does have to the best of his advantage. He's been able to keep Longanides away from him, and that's been very effective so far. There's nothing in this scorecard now other than that first round knockout at the moment that leans it a little bit to White. First real clinch of the fight where the actual fighters have hung on for a little bit of a time.
The tiredness of guys, tiredness starting to creep into this fight.
I see a couple of people over in that front row. Every time they come over to that corner, they sort of flinch and sit back a little harder in their chairs. The boys is really starting to work this fight out now. I think they've sort of found each other's measure. They know the strong points and the weak points, Greg, and we could see a few drastic changes in the next, say, 3 to 4 rounds.
Generally, with these big guys, they have to watch what they do, especially with their energy. The first half of the fight, and you generally see some fireworks in the second half.
Now, would they take much fluids during this fight, or would they try and limit it to
They have to have quite a bit of fluid, these guys. They're big guys, and
obviously sweating a lot.
Sweats out of them, yeah, pours out of them. Perspiration pours out of them.
Well, Lawrence White back in that blue corner. He'll get towed down. They'll fan him down as Stan the man.
Well, there's nothing in this, mate.
No, it's a very even fight now. I would say it's come up to pretty close to square. I still, if the fight was asked for a decision now, I'd have to give it to Lawrence White. Purely and simply on that.
A count back, yes. A count back, Lawrence White gets my nod at the present time.
And so does this young lady. Out of all our meter maids, that young lady gets my coins. A couple of instructions. Now Stan's very wet coming into this ring. He's got a lot of moisture on the surface of the body. Whether the ref requires him to wipe down, he doesn't. So that's a surprise to me.
Well, these guys, they pour it down. Yes, it makes the canvas a little bit slippery, doesn't it?
Well, not only that, the punches that are landed will tend to slide off the body rather than stick to the body, and I think it's a bit unfair. As you say, it also makes the canvas greasy, and that causes a few problems. First one of the roundhouses. There you go. Lawrence White stood well back, just snapped his chin back out of the way.
Yes, it was a well-executed kick, but of course the timing was a little bit out. Lawrence White saw it coming.
A little bit slow, a little bit of a telegraph there.
Stan trying to open up his full range of technique. Because no fighter has opened up yet.
I haven't seen a weakness in Lawrence's defence either. It's pretty solid.
He's looking good. He's eyes his partner, or his opponent, I should say, out very well.
He's very wide across the back. He's enormous, actually, across the back. Oh, nearly snapped his legs from under him then. That was a good workout from Longanides.
Stan might be showing the psychological effects of that defeat.
Oh no, wayward punches 3, wayward punches 2 from Longanides, or 1 from Lawrence.
His last encounter with Maurice Smith.
Yes, he took a lot of punishment in that fight, and you can see that the kick's just starting to become a little bit more prolific now as we work into the latter rounds of this fight. got 12 2-minute rounds. I don't want to put my neck out here and say this won't go the distance. These boys are starting to really wind this up, and if they progressively wind this up like a turbine, by the time we hit round 8, 9, and 10, these boys are going to be smoking.
We are looking at 12 rounds, and of course it is a long from there.
Clubbing right hand over the top. It snuck right through on Lawrence's White's defence. He's in trouble. Hangs on to him.
A very dangerous technique from Stan the Man, coming over with that big right hand, and of course it deflected Lawrence White fair on the chin.
Well, that's what's doing the damage at the moment in the fight. Definitely that big right hand from Stan.
That big right hand is the difference between the two in this round.
Yeah, absolutely. And that stung Lawrence White. He was really put off that one. It really hurt him. He went back to the corner, and I'm sure that his corner men will be doing more than waving the towel at him.
Round 7's coming up.
Well, 7th round coming up. 12 to be completed. But as I said, I think you're really going to see the fireworks start to hot up now. Not much swelling around either boxers' faces, so they haven't taken too much.
No, these guys haven't yet loose yet. Because the crowds are waiting in anticipation for some fireworks.
We can see how quickly things can change. Look at that Grant Barker fight.
Grant Barker down and out, and then suddenly, bang. The other guy's down, and of course out.
Well, here we go now. In round 7. A little bit of pit and patter there. Boxers still a little tentative to go in early, realising that these are 2-minute rounds, not 1-minute 30 rounds. There's no kick count, so they can exchange a small amount of kicks, or they can exchange a large amount of kicks.
Stan's looking a little more composed than Lawrence White at this stage of the fight. Seems to be picking his punches and kicks out very well now, hitting the mark more often.
Lawrence is getting a little tentative, left and rights from Stan. They weren't that devastating a punch, but it seems to have hurt him a little. Lawrence White, whether he's foxing, just taking it back onto the ropes. First time I've seen the ropes actually take the weight of the body. Stan starting to wind it up a little. Lawrence was starting to realise that he's in a fight now. He's really starting to have to pick his defence right up and keep it very tight. Oh, good right, and that's put him on the canvas.
That was a beautiful technique, right and left, and of course he hit him in the leg and knocked him off his feet.
Yeah, those kicks are really starting to make way now. They're really starting to hand Lawrence White. He's up. He's up. No, they're not going to go on with it. Stan stopped it. Stan becomes a new world champion, mate. We've got another one in the country.
Another one.
What can we do? Geez, I'd like to see that on replay.
We can't lose. That's what we can do.
That is incredible performance from Stan, because nothing was really happening. Just like in Barker's fight, not much happening. And then all of a sudden, a small flurry. And you see the victor stand there.
Very impressive performance from Stan the Man tonight. He played it like a game of chess.
Well, I'm sure he's going to hang on to that title now. He's going to work very hard to keep that title. And Stan is ecstatic. Jupiter's Casino has played host to her.
And hammering.
Absolutely.
And world title.
Yeah.
There's Maurice Stratton there, putting on another wonderful...
From Mammoth Sports Promotions, by the way, who put this all together. And are great promoters in the kickboxing sport.
And she's looking very happy.
Well, maybe we might get a word from Stan. He can't believe it. Emotion has really hit Stan very hard at the moment. And I'm sure that Jeff Fennick will be somewhere in the wings to offer his congratulations to Stan on a performance that surprised me. I thought it was going to go, 8, 9 and 10 I was looking for.
You can't, with these heavyweights, I mean, anything can happen. It's so explosive. These guys have got so much power in their technique that if one connects, that's the virtual end of the fight.
And the actual exchange that put out Lawrence White didn't really devastate me that much, but then again, the results on the scorecard.
Yes, the power anyway. I mean,
Cass Gill there, just congratulating Stan the Man.
Showing his incredible height. Stan overcome with emotion.
Well, there's a big entourage in there now, and Stan's very relieved because, as we called it earlier, he had that loss and he had to come up with a win. It was,
Stan the Man tonight showed his true championship qualities. He went into this fight.
Presented to the new world champion, ladies.
Well, he's got that jersey on, and of course, it'd be very positive for Darren. It's great to see that Stan has done that, and this is a tribute to a most probably a very, very good friend.
And as I said, Stan, whether he's going to say anything, he doesn't say too much, old Stan. He's not like Grant Barker. Grant Barker just grabs that microphone.
Just take a few moments of your time, please. I'd like to share a couple of things with you. First of all, I'd like to thank everyone involved in my preparation. My manager, Nick Kennis, who's been the best thing that's ever happened to me. All the team, Dana Goodson, Lee, Nick Matthews, all the guys. There's so many people I have to thank. But one thing I want to share with all of you is that I've fought for 3 world titles. This is my 4th. The first one I fought in Perth, I should have won and I drew. The second one I fought in Melbourne, I won in a controversial way. I thought that my fans, my growing army of fans, deserved better than that, so I relinquished the title the next day. I fought in Sydney for a world title and I lost a split decision against the best heavyweight in the world, Maurice Smith, who I plan on getting back pretty soon. But what I want to say is, I'll always have a special place in my heart for Jupiters, because this is where I finally got my chance, and I won't.
A very, very emotional
and likeable guy.
Yeah, sure.
He's one of the best things that's happened to Australian kickboxing.
Doesn't matter how tough you are, mate. It gets to you at any stage in your career or in your lifetime. It does happen, doesn't it, mate?
Oh, you've got to look at our illustrious Prime Minister.
Well, he set the trend, didn't he?
I want to thank Maurice Stratton. This is the first show that we've done together, and I hope it's not going to be the last. I want to thank Jeff Finnick, who's been following my career closely and coming to all my fights. I want to thank my friends from Collingwood. I'm a big Collingwood fan. They've come all the way to support me. I want to thank John Mullane, and I dedicate this to Darren. He's the best. Best.
He's a very good friend, Darren, and it's unfortunate such a tragic thing to happen, but got a homage way to pay respects.
Well, Greg, we've seen a great card tonight. It's been a good card of kickboxing. Australia proving yet again that we are coming to the top end of kickboxing at Jupiter's Casino on the Gold Coast. Greg,